Hey everyone, welcome and thanks for joining me for episode 7 of this FIFA 15 European Super League. Manchester United are flying high. Look at what we've had to overcome over the last couple of episodes. Let's just take a step back for a moment and take stock. We've had to rise to the challenge of Barca and Bayern, and I know I keep mentioning it in almost every video so far. I am playing every game on Legendary, so I'm impressed with how well I'm doing, to be honest, with that challenge. Yes, we've had our fair share of draws, and we probably could have won a couple of those games. But apart from that, we have been doing exceptionally well. I've been doing well, if I may say so myself. But I know Manchester United and myself are going to have to go up another gear as we get deeper and deeper into this European Super League. Our next fixture will be at home against PSG. I was relieved to see that Ibrahimovic was starting the game on the bench and not actually starting up front. They were going for that 4-1-2-2-1 formation, almost like a bowl-shaped formation with Cavani up front on his own, flanked by Lucas and Lavezzi, but they were enough to get my fullbacks working overtime. And of course it would be full on as soon as Ibrahimovic would be introduced into this game, especially if PSG found themselves trailing, because they would be lumping the ball forwards, trying to long ball it, trying to pick out a pass to Ibrahimovic. You know, he's a pretty tall guy, he's a very physical player as well, and he can certainly destroy the back of the net. So after seeing their starting lineup, my thinking was, well, we need to try our best to get this game done and over with before half time. Let's see if we can grab a goal or two, and then maybe in the second half we can just chill out a bit and just retain possession. But that wasn't going to be the case. PSG were pressing, and as you just saw with the previous highlight, Cavani almost connected with that ball 100%. If he had, I think the ball would have found its way into the back of the net, but De Gea was there, thankfully, to just put a stop to it. Pastore had another chance for PSG, looking to tuck the ball into the bottom right-hand corner with that shot, but it just went wide of the target, and I was counting my blessings from there on out, because numerous times we could have conceded to PSG. We could have been 2-3-0 down by half-time, and that certainly wasn't what we needed if it wasn't for him, Super Dave. I mean, I've witnessed so many amazing saves, not just from De Gea, but from the opposition's keeper as well in previous games. You can certainly see that new goalkeeper technology. I know it's got some stick over the past year since FIFA 15 released, but I think you get to witness it more when you're playing on Legendary than if you're playing on World Class, or maybe even lower than that, because obviously the opposition, they're getting more chances. But just before half time here, here's another magical moment for you folks. Wayne Rooney making it 1-0. Looking at the match facts at half-time, it wasn't really deserved, but that is what Wayne Rooney is all about. Just coming up with something special out of nowhere. I mean, it really was. Something like 30 yards out, would you say? 25, 30 yards outside the box. I could see Douche was off his line slightly. I just thought, well, why not? Let's have a crack, because I've hardly had a shot on goal for this first 45 minutes. It's moments like that which make you keep wanting to go back and play FIFA. And I found it kind of funny, really, how Rooney, his body positioning, it wasn't really lined up to have a go for the top left-hand corner, more like for the top right. But wow, he just pulls that one out of the bag. Came out of nowhere, really. And it's just absolutely stunning. And it was a good way to build confidence heading into the second half. I thought we were really poor, and I felt as though PSG deserved a bit better in that first 45 minutes, but that's football for you. And that man, Thiago Silva, the captain, will be kicking himself that he couldn't organise his defence properly enough to try and close down Rooney. They should have been anticipating that, really, because they know that Rooney can hit them from a long way out, as we've seen in the past. Come the second half, PSG came out firing on all cylinders. Of course they did, and Cavani did find the equaliser. He came close numerous times in the first half of getting a goal to his name, but he did this time in the second half, and it was a good, simple cross into the box by Cabaye, which found the head of Cavani, and De Gea was just a whisker away, and what a saviour he was in this game, as you'll see from this moment from Lucas, who decided to have a go on goal from that cross by Cavani. Kept it under control nicely, good technique on the volley, but I would say De Gea's save was better than the initial shot from Lucas, and Lucas was certainly getting frustrated. He kept calling for the ball, he kept receiving it, kept having a crack on goal, but he just couldn't put the ball past De Gea. He kept saying no, he kept denying Lucas, and in the end, Laurent Blanc would take off Lucas to be replaced by Ibrahimovic. That was when things were about to get serious. But Gundogan had a crack on goal. I thought the ball was going to just drop into the back of the net after Doucet saved that. He was very fortunate there, because I've seen a couple of times, well, managed to do it in my career mode with United, have a shot on goal, keeper saves it, palms it up, and it just drops behind him into the goal. So he was very lucky there to keep PSG level, and that would be the final score. 1-1 at Old Trafford. You can see that it was a pretty tight game. We only saw 51% of the ball, very even, but De Gea, as you would expect, received the Man of the Match award there after countless saves against PSG. Our next game, we would be travelling down south to the Emirates to play Arsenal midweek on the Tuesday. We would finish the month of November back at Old Trafford against PSV, and a couple of days later on Tuesday we'd be at home against Dortmund. But look at December, as you would expect, absolutely jam-packed, full of high-profile fixtures. Liverpool, Juventus, and we finish up the month of December heading into the new year against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, which could prove to be a very, very important fixture, which could even determine who the winner of this European Super League is going to be, because it being at Christmas time and everything, they always say that whoever's top of the league goes on to win it. That's not always the case, I know, but it gives us a very good idea of who's certainly going to be battling it out between the top two. So as you just saw on our calendar, our next fixture would be away against Arsenal. You can see Sanchez and Danny Welbeck, two pacey players that we were going to have to watch out and really keep a close eye on in this game. For the rest of Arsenal's lineup, they had Szczesny starting in goal, Koscielny, Debuchy, Gabriel and Monreal at the back, Flamini, the experienced central midfielder, playing, and Wilshere and Ramsey, and also Walcott. But they had Ozil on the bench. I was surprised he wasn't starting this game as well as Giroud, but I suppose Wenger was going for Welbeck over Giroud because of the whole history with Welbeck at Manchester United, hoping that he would get on the score sheet against his former side. There was my lineup. Januzaj coming into the starting lineup down the left side in place of Ashley Young, and Gundogan acting as my anchor man just in support of the back four in place of Michael Carrick. It was Arsenal that got the first shot away, and it was very close to going in if it wasn't for, of course, super David De Gea. The ball was laser guided almost by Aaron Ramsey, such power behind it. It was destined for the back of the net, but De Gea, boom, sticks his hand out and says no. Would have been a bit of a blow as well to Manchester United if we had have conceded so early on. And Arsenal, they were firing on all cylinders in this game, a bit like PSG in the second half in our previous game. But Arsenal, it seemed as though there's no let-up. They kept coming at us, looking for that first goal. Wenger was obviously looking to get this game put to bed before half-time, trying to keep his players fit for their midweek fixture, who I'm not too sure would be against. But Januzaj came so close for United, so close, just an inch away from rattling against the post, maybe clipping the inside and going across the line, and that would have been perfect for Januzaj, seeing that he was starting his first game of the season for Manchester United. Angel Di Maria came close to making it 1-0 again for Manchester United, but Szczesny just parrying that one for the Arsenal defenders to mop up his mess. Come half-time, it was all level between Arsenal and Manchester United at the Emirates. It was almost like a battleground as Danny Welbeck licking his wounds, holding onto his shoulder there after getting bullied around by Phil Jones, Chris Smalling and Dani Alves. I mean, Welbeck, he was trying his utmost best to score against his former side, but it wasn't going to happen, not on my watch. Just past the hour mark at the Emirates, Manchester United surged forwards, and big man Fellaini got his head on the end of that ball, which was just dinked in the air by Gundogan. And it's a very powerful header. It was going for the top right hand corner, but of course it would be a simple save from Szczesny. And I love this bit of play between Herrera, Rooney and Angel Di Maria. Herrera giving the ball to Rooney, who lobbed that over the top, finding that run of Angel Di Maria, who unfortunately went to hit the ball. Probably would have been on target as well, but there was just too many bodies in the area. We were certainly wearing Arsenal down as this went on, because Koscielny and Gabriel, I don't think they have the best of stamina. They're not the paciest of players, so we were having to hit Arsenal on the counter, and we could definitely do that with Di Maria and Januzaj and also Rooney in the side. I'm not sure I don't think Wenger even brought Mertesacker on, who is probably their slowest player in the team. I do remember seeing his face though whilst playing in the second half. I'm not too sure, I'll have to go back and check that. But with just 3 minutes to go of the game, it's still all level, but Angel Di Maria whipped in a quality ball, finding the head of Falcao, who would come on to replace Fellaini, which meant I dropped Captain Rooney back into the central attacking mid, and I have Falcao up front. And Falcao, just like in that Monaco game, making a nuisance of himself in the penalty area. Not the tallest of guys, but an absolute assassin when it came to aerial threat. Di Maria's corner eventually found Januzaj, who went for the volley, hit first time, and because there were so many bodies in the area, the ball was deflecting all over the place, but eventually fell to the feet of the one Ander Herrera, and it kind of looked like a pass into the bottom left-hand corner, didn't it? But Szczesny rooted to the spot, poor keeping from him, but he just didn't know what to do. I mean, his defenders weren't doing their job correctly. They weren't marking the players. They were just running around, playing silly buggers. And then, with just seconds to go of the game, Manchester United powered forwards. You can see how many we had in attack. And they were seriously worn out at this point. Di Maria pulling the ball back and having a go on his own. And, of course, made it 2-0 to Manchester United. The game at that point was certainly out of sight. There was no way back whatsoever for Arsenal. The United fans sent into raptures, and things would certainly go from bad to worse for Arsene Wenger and his Arsenal team in the European Super League. There was a job to be done at the Emirates for United, and we did it. We came away with those 3 points, and what finish from Di Maria, just bending that one around to Szczesny, who's again rooted to the spot. I mean, he'd been pretty decent for the majority of the game up until that last 10-15 minutes where he just let himself down and his team. So the final score at the Emirates, Arsenal 0, Manchester United 2. I was beaming after that result, as you guys can imagine, being up there in the top 3 in this FIFA 15 European Super League. There is no feeling like it. It's sensational. De Gea coming away with yet another Man of the Match award, just like real life. That's all then, folks. Thanks for watching.